In the quiet highlands of Antique, where time moves slower and mornings begin with the low hum of crickets and the cry of roosters, lives a woman whose name is not shouted, but remembered. Her name is Aling Inday, 65 years old, widowed, a mother of 4, a grandmother, a keeper of rhythm, routine, and remarkable instinct. She is not known for trophies, nor for flashy bloodlines. She has no Facebook page, no breeding logo, no YouTube channel, and yet, among breeders across barangays and bukid towns, her name is whispered with quiet respect. Kung gusto mong malaman kung may laban yang sisiw mo, ipatingin mo kay Aling Inday. They call her the light of the Coop, not because she wired electricity through her pens, but because her instincts light the way, through doubt, through guesswork, through the unseen details that decide whether a bird will rise or fall. She doesn't raise hundreds, she raises with purpose, with feeling, with a gaze that has never needed a screen, because she sees straight through the feathers, into the soul of the bird. Aling Inday's world is small, but it is precise. It does not boast of size, scale, or speed. It moves to a rhythm carved by years of care and quiet confidence. Her feeders are carved from bamboo, some faded, some patched, but all used with care. Her feed? A humble mix of cracked corn, native grains, boiled kamote, and on some days, rice bran soaked in lukewarm water. It's not about what you feed, she says softly. It's about when and why. She doesn't just follow feeding times. She watches the weather, the behavior, the moon sometimes. To her, feeding is not just about filling stomachs. It's about setting the mood of the yard. A bird that eats too quickly might be nervous. One that doesn't eat at all may be sensing rain before the clouds arrive. Everything in her yard is modest, yet intentional. No shiny cords, no color-coded bowls, no digital timers. Just rhythm, instinct, and a trust that comes from doing the same thing, with the same care, every single morning. She can look at a chick barely 2 days old and tell you its story. Not through bloodline charts, not from documents or DNA, but through posture, breath, stillness. To others, it's just a baby bird. To her, it's already speaking. Medyo mabigat sa likod, hindi yan matalino gumalaw. Too heavy on the back, not a smart mover. Ito, maganda ang dibdib. Umaangat pag nabibigla, malakas ang loob. This one, its chest rises when startled, good nerves. She doesn't need second opinions. She trusts what she sees. And more importantly, she trusts what the bird shows. Her judgment, tested not in theory, but in time. And more often than not, she's right. They call it golden eye, but to her, it's just listening with the eyes. She has no Google Sheets, no spreadsheets, no color-coded feeding schedules. Her records live inside a single notebook, worn down by time, rain, and her own hands, filled with notes that don't follow breeding formats, but read like poetry. Kalma sa ulan, palaban pag gutom. Calm in the rain, fights when hungry. Marunong umiwas pero hindi duwag. Knows how to avoid, but not a coward. To some, it might look like scribbles, but to her, it's a map of every bird she's ever studied, every trait she's tried to understand. Pagsulat kamay, mas bumabaon sa isip. When you write it by hand, it sinks deeper into the mind. She doesn't write to impress, she writes to remember and to feel, because while others chase formulas, Aling Inday captures moments that whisper truths only a heart like hers can understand. 12 years ago, Aling Inday lost her partner, her husband, her teacher, the quiet Sabungero who taught her to listen with her eyes and feel through her hands. His passing left more than just grief. It left her with a choice, a Coop, a notebook, and a question that echoed louder than any rooster crow. Should I continue? Sabi nila babelang ako, hindi ko alamang laban. They said I'm just a woman, that I don't know the fight. Pero mas kilala ko ang mga manok kaysa sa sarili kong mga anak minsan. But sometimes, I know these birds better than my own children. She thought about selling the birds, turning the coop into a sari-sari store, letting the rhythm fade with her grief. But the birds, they still looked at her the same way, still followed her steps, still waited for her hand. So she stayed, not just to keep the birds alive, but to keep the love alive. The legacy, the quiet language she and her husband once shared through every morning chore. She never advertised, never posted wins, never joined breeder groups online. But her birds started to speak for her. And slowly, the community took notice. Not because of hype, but because of results. Young Breeder 1. Aling Inday, totoo po ba yung pullets mas matalas paggaling sa inahin ng tahimik? Aling Inday, ang inahin na hindi maingay, marunong magbantay. Ang sisiw niya, matalas tumingin, pero hindi padalos-dalos. Young Breeder 2. Ano po yung unang tinitingnan nyo sa sisiw? Paa po ba? Balikat? O mata? Aling Inday. Tingnan mo sa mata. Kung tuloy ang tingin, may laban yan. Kung paikot-ikot ang ulo, naghahanap ng dahilan para umatras. Word spread quietly. Like steam rising from rice. Like old secrets passed between sips of coffee at the talipapa. No slogans, no trophies, just a woman with a golden eye and a heart still listening. To most people, a bird is loudest when it crows. But for Aling Inday, roosters speak long before they ever open their beaks. They talk with their tails, with their toes, with the way they carry tension in their shoulders, like a man trying to hide nervousness with stillness. She reads roosters like others read faces. A flinch? That's fear. A slow blink? That's trust. A still body? That's readiness. This is not guesswork, not luck. It's language, without words. She doesn't need noise. She listens through stillness. And in that silence, she hears what most people never will. Now, as the sun sets on her own journey, Aling Inday teaches. Not through lectures, not with charts or loud corrections, but through presence, through patience, through the gentle guiding of hands. Aling Inday, tingnan mo, hindi lang yung katawan. Tingnan mo kung paano siya huminga. Don't just look at the body, watch how it breathes. It's not just about birds. It's about learning how to feel, how to see beyond the feathers and the flutters. Aling Inday, wag ka lang tumingin, makiramdam ka. Don't just look, learn to sense. Apo, curious. Lola, paano mo nalalaman kung panalo yung manok? Grandma, how do you know if a rooster is a winner? Aling Inday, ang tunay na panalo, kalmado bago ang laban. A true winner is calm before the fight. In her silence, there is teaching. In her slowness, there is depth. And in her final years, there is a quiet urgency to pass down a wisdom that cannot be Googled. She may never sit ringside at Araneta, may never hold a trophy, may never wear a branded cap or print a logo. But here in Antique, in quiet corners, far from noise and flashbulbs, among the real breeders, the ones who feel more than they post, she is remembered. She is a matriarch of intuition, a quiet flame in the fading dusk of tradition, a keeper of something older than bloodlines, connection. If you believe that some gifts are unseen, that true breeding is not just science, but soul, that wisdom doesn't always shout, but always stays, then like this video. Comment your favorite moment with Aling Inday, a line, a lesson, or simply the way she watches. And subscribe for more stories like hers, stories where the greatest teachers wear no medals and the sharpest eyes belong to those who never asked for recognition. Aling Inday of Antique, the light of the Coop with a golden eye, grit, instinct, and game-foul wisdom, passed down not by books, but by presence.